I knelt down on the cold church floor, waiting. My heart pounded like a drum in my chest. Father Thomas walked toward me, holding the small white piece of bread. When he placed it on my tongue, something inside me broke wide open. Tears poured down my face like a river I couldn't stop. Right there, in front of everyone, I cried like I hadn't cried in years. This is the story of how I lost everything and found something I never knew I needed. Before we go further, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more true stories that touch the heart. And tell us in the comments where you're watching from because we love hearing from you. My name is Margaret, and I'm 67 years old. I live in a small yellow house in Jacksonville, Florida, where the sun shines bright and the air smells like salt from the ocean. For 42 years, I worked at Memorial Hospital as a nurse's aide. That means I helped take care of sick people. I brought them water, helped them walk, held their hands when they were scared, and made sure they felt loved when their families couldn't be there. My life was simple and good. Every morning, I woke up at 5 o'clock. I made coffee in my small kitchen, the same blue mug I'd used for 20 years. I'd look out my window at the oak tree in my yard, watching the birds hop from branch to branch. Then I'd drive to the hospital, park in the same spot, and walk through those glass doors that slid open with a whoosh. The patients loved me. Mrs. Anderson in room 304 always asked for me to brush her hair. Little Tommy in the children's wing wouldn't take his medicine from anyone else. Mr. Chen taught me 3 words in Chinese and laughed every time I said them wrong. These people were my purpose. They were why I got up every morning. Every Sunday, I went to St. Mary's Church on the corner of 5th Street. The building was old, with tall windows that let the colorful light shine through. I sat in the same wooden bench, 3rd row from the front on the left side. I sang the hymns, prayed the prayers, and felt close to God. Faith was like breathing to me. I didn't think about it much. It was just there, steady and sure, like the ground under my feet. My mother, Sarah, lived 10 minutes away in a small apartment covered with flowers she planted herself. Roses, sunflowers, and bright purple flowers I could never remember the name of. She was 79 years old, with silver hair she kept in a neat bun and eyes that sparkled when she laughed. Every Wednesday, I brought her groceries. Every Saturday, we had lunch together. She made the best chicken soup in the world, and we'd talk for hours about everything and nothing. I thought my life would stay this way forever. I thought I had everything figured out. I was wrong. It started in January 2021. Mama called me on a Tuesday morning, and her voice sounded different. Weak. Tired. Margaret, honey, I can't stop coughing, she said. And my chest hurts. Fear grabbed my stomach and twisted it. I'm coming right now, Mama. When I got to her apartment, she looked smaller somehow. Her skin was pale, and dark circles sat under her eyes like shadows. I drove her straight to the hospital, the same hospital where I worked. But this time, I wasn't the helper. I was the scared daughter in the waiting room, picking at my fingernails and watching the clock move too slowly. The doctor came out after 2 hours. His face was serious. My heart started racing before he even spoke. Mrs. Margaret, your mother has lung cancer. It's already spread to other parts of her body. The world tilted sideways. Cancer. That word felt like a monster with sharp teeth. I couldn't breathe right. Everything got fuzzy around the edges. How long? I whispered. We'll do everything we can. Chemotherapy. Radiation. But we need to be realistic. Maybe 6 months. Maybe a year if we're lucky. Lucky. That word sounded like a joke. The next 6 months became a blur of hospital visits, medicines, and watching Mama get weaker. The chemotherapy made her beautiful silver hair fall out. She got so thin I could see her bones. The flowers in her apartment died because she couldn't take care of them anymore. I tried to water them, but they died anyway, like they knew something I didn't want to admit. I kept working at the hospital, but everything felt different now. When I helped other patients, I thought about Mama. When I held someone's hand, I wished I could hold hers. At night, I prayed harder than I ever prayed before. Please, God, I whispered into my dark bedroom. Please save her. I'll do anything. Just don't take my Mama away. But God felt far away. My prayers seemed to hit the ceiling and fall back down. In July, Mama asked me a question that broke my heart. We were sitting in her hospital room. The machines around her beeped quietly. The 4 drip made a soft sound, Drip, drip, drip. Margaret, am I going to die? I looked into her eyes, those same eyes that had looked at me with love my whole life. I should have told her the truth. But I couldn't. No, Mama. You're going to get better. The doctors are doing everything they can. She squeezed my hand with her thin fingers. You're a terrible liar, baby girl. We both cried then. But we didn't talk about it again. Mama died on a Thursday morning in August. I was holding her hand. One moment she was breathing, soft and slow. The next moment, she was gone. Just like that. The woman who gave me life, who taught me to pray, who made me laugh, was gone forever. I couldn't feel anything at first. I was numb, like my whole body had fallen asleep. I planned the funeral. I picked out her clothes, a blue dress she loved. I chose the songs for the service. I shook hands with people who said, "I'm so sorry for your loss," over and over until the words stopped meaning anything. But after the funeral, after everyone went home, the numbness broke. Pain rushed in like a flood. I cried until my throat was raw. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. The yellow house felt too big and too empty. Then, 2 weeks after Mama died, I got a phone call from the hospital. "Margaret, we need to talk to you about your position." They told me the hospital was cutting staff because of money problems. After 42 years of waking up at 5 in the morning, after 42 years of caring for people, after 42 years of giving everything I had, they were letting me go. Just like that. I sat in my small kitchen, holding the phone after they hung up. The blue coffee mug sat on the counter. The oak tree outside looked the same. But my whole world had fallen apart. No mother. No job. No purpose. And a God who felt 1,000,000 miles away. The days after I lost my job blended together like gray paint. I stopped opening my curtains. I stopped answering my phone. I stopped going to church on Sundays. What was the point? I'd prayed and prayed for Mama, and she died anyway. I'd been faithful my whole life, and God took everything from me in one summer. I stayed in bed most days, staring at the ceiling. The house got messy. Dishes piled up in the sink. Mail stacked up by the door. I didn't care. Nothing mattered anymore. My neighbor, Mrs. Chen, knocked on my door one afternoon. She was a tiny woman with kind eyes who always smiled and waved when she saw me. "Margaret, honey, I haven't seen you in weeks. Are you okay?" I stood in the doorway in my old pajamas, my hair a mess. "I'm fine, Elid." Her face got sad. "You don't look fine. Can I bring you some food? Can I help with anything?" "No, thank you. I just need to be alone." I closed the door before she could say more. I knew I was pushing people away. I knew I looked terrible. I knew my life was falling apart. But I couldn't find the energy to care. At night, the loneliness was worst. The house made settling sounds that scared me. Every creak, every whisper of wind felt like a ghost. I'd lie there in the dark and think about Mama. I'd remember her laugh. I'd remember the way she hummed while cooking. I'd remember the last time I saw her smile. Then the anger came. Hot, burning anger that filled my chest and made my hands shake. Why did God let this happen? Why did He take the one person I loved most? Why did He let me lose my job right when I needed it most? What kind of God does that to someone who served Him faithfully for 67 years? I stopped praying. What was the point of talking to someone who didn't listen? September turned into October. The leaves on my oak tree turned golden red, then fell to the ground. I watched them through my dirty window. They covered my yard like a blanket, and I didn't rake them. I didn't do anything. I ate cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner when I remembered to eat at all. I lost weight. My clothes hung loose on my body. I looked in the mirror one day and didn't recognize the woman staring back at me. Her eyes were hollow. Her face was thin. She looked like a ghost. One Tuesday morning in late October, I woke up and couldn't get out of bed. Not because I was tired. Because I saw no reason to get up. No job to go to. No Mama to visit. No purpose. No point. I lay there for hours, watching the sunlight move across my bedroom wall. A small voice in my head whispered dark thoughts. Maybe everyone would be better off without me. Maybe I should just stay in this bed forever. Maybe this pain would never end. But then something strange happened. A feeling tugged at my chest. Not a good feeling exactly. More like a pull. Like an invisible string was tied to my heart and someone was gently tugging it. Get up, the feeling seemed to say. Get up and go. I tried to ignore it. But it got stronger. My legs started to tingle. My hands wanted to move. The pull got so strong I couldn't stay in bed anymore. I got up slowly. My body felt stiff and achy from lying down so long. I walked to my closet and put on real clothes for the first time in weeks. A simple blue dress. Nothing fancy. I brushed my hair. I looked in the mirror. I still looked terrible, but at least I was dressed. The pull in my chest got stronger. It seemed to say, go to church. Go now. No, I said out loud to my empty house. I'm not going to church. God doesn't care about me. But my feet started moving anyway. I found my car keys. I walked out my front door into the bright October sunshine. The light hurt my eyes. The fresh air felt strange after being inside so long. But I kept walking. I got in my car and drove. My hands shook on the steering wheel. Part of me wanted to turn around and go home. But that invisible string kept pulling me forward. St. Mary's Church looked exactly the same. The tall windows. The old stone walls. The wooden doors. But everything felt different to me now. I parked my car and sat there for 10 minutes, staring at those doors. What am I doing here? I thought. God doesn't want me. I'm too angry. Too broken. Too lost. But my hand opened the car door. My feet carried me up the steps. My hand pushed open the heavy wooden door. Inside, the church was quiet and cool. The colorful windows made patterns of light on the floor. The smell of candles and old wood filled my nose. Only 3 other people sat in the benches, scattered around the big room. My legs felt weak. I walked down the aisle, past my old bench on the 3rd row, and kept going all the way to the front. I knelt down on the cushioned step before the altar. The same altar I'd knelt at 1,000 times before. But this time felt different. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to pray. So I just knelt there, feeling small and broken and empty. Then I heard footsteps. Father Thomas walked out from the side door. He was an older man with white hair and gentle eyes behind wire glasses. He'd been the priest at St. Mary's for 20 years. He'd baptized babies, married couples, and buried the dead. He'd seen everything. He saw me kneeling there and stopped. His face got soft with concern. "Margaret," he said quietly. "Is that you?" I nodded but couldn't speak. My throat was tight. He walked over slowly and stood beside me. "I haven't seen you in months. I heard about your mother. I'm so sorry." The kindness in his voice made something crack inside me. My eyes filled with tears. "I also heard about your job," he continued. "That must have been very hard." I nodded again. The tears spilled over and ran down my cheeks. "Would you like to receive communion?" he asked gently. I looked up at him. "I don't know if I should. I'm so angry at God." I stopped praying. I stopped believing. I don't think I even have faith anymore. Father Thomas smiled sadly. "Faith doesn't mean you never have doubts, Margaret. Faith means you show up anyway. And here you are." He went to prepare the communion. I watched him through my tears. My whole body was shaking now. All the pain I'd been holding inside for months was rising up like a wave. Father Thomas came back holding the small round piece of bread. The host. He stood before me. "The body of Christ," he said. I opened my mouth. He placed it gently on my tongue. And that's when I broke completely. All the grief, all the anger, all the loneliness, all the fear came pouring out. I sobbed so hard I couldn't breathe. My whole body shook. Tears and snot ran down my face and I didn't care. I cried for Mama. I cried for my lost job. I cried for all the prayers that seemed unanswered. I cried for the faith I thought I'd lost. Father Thomas knelt down beside me. He didn't say anything. He just stayed there while I fell apart. When I finally caught my breath, he handed me a tissue. I wiped my face, embarrassed. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm a mess." "Don't apologize," he said firmly. "You've been carrying a mountain on your shoulders. It's time to put it down." We sat together on the front bench. The church was still quiet around us. The colored lights still danced on the floor. I'm so angry at God, I finally said. I prayed so hard for Mama to live. Why didn't he save her? Father Thomas was quiet for a moment. Then he said something I didn't expect. I don't know. I looked at him surprised. You don't know? No, he said honestly. I don't know why your mother died. I don't know why you lost your job. I don't know why good people suffer. If anyone tells you they have all the answers, they're lying. His honesty shocked me. I expected him to give me easy answers, to quote Bible verses, to tell me it was all part of God's plan. But here's what I do know, he continued. God didn't leave you, Margaret. You're here, aren't you? Something brought you through those doors today. That's not nothing. I don't even know why I came, I admitted. I was lying in bed, wanting to give up. Then I just felt this pull. That pull was God, Father Thomas said simply. Not forcing you. Not demanding. Just gently inviting. And you answered. That took more courage than you know. We talked for over an hour. I told him everything. The loneliness. The anger. The dark thoughts. The feeling that my life was over and meaningless. He listened to every word without judging me. Faith isn't about being perfect, Margaret, he finally said. It's about being honest. You just told God exactly how you feel. That's real prayer. That's real faith. But I stopped believing, I said. Did you? Or did you just stop pretending everything was okay? He smiled gently. Wounded faith is still faith. Maybe even stronger faith. Because you're not hiding anymore. Something in his words reached a deep place inside me. The tight knot in my chest loosened just a little bit. What do I do now? I asked. I have no job. No purpose. I don't know how to live without Mama. You don't have to figure it all out today, Father Thomas said. Just take one small step. Come back to church this Sunday. Sit in your old spot. Let yourself be part of the community again. Let people help you. I don't want to be a burden, I said quickly. Margaret, do you remember how good it felt to help your patients? To care for them? Yes. That was the best part of my job. Well, now it's your turn to receive. Let others have that same gift. Let them care for you. Before I left, Father Thomas gave me his phone number. Call me any time. Day or night. You're not alone in this. I drove home with tears still on my face, but something had shifted. The heavy darkness wasn't completely gone, but there was a tiny crack of light. That Sunday, I went back to church. I wore my nicest dress and sat in my old spot, third row on the left. Mrs. Chen saw me and rushed over with a huge smile. She hugged me tight. Margaret, you came back. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. After the service, people surrounded me. They'd heard about Mama. They'd heard about my job. They brought casseroles and cards and offers to help. Part of me wanted to push them away, to say I was fine. But I remembered Father Thomas's words. Thank you, I said instead. I really need the help. The next week, Father Thomas called me. Margaret, I have someone I'd like you to meet. Her name is Mrs. Eleanor. She's 82, lives alone, and could use some company. Maybe help with small things around her house. I thought of you. My first reaction was to say no. I was the one who needed help. How could I help someone else? But then I remembered how empty I felt without purpose. How much I missed caring for people. Okay, I said. I'll try. Mrs. Eleanor lived in a small apartment filled with photos of her family. Her children lived far away and rarely visited. She had bright eyes but moved slowly, her hands shaking from age. Oh, you came, she said when she opened the door. Father Thomas said you might. Please come in. We had tea together. I helped her fold her laundry. We talked about her grandchildren, her garden, her life. When I left 2 hours later, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. I felt useful. Needed. Like maybe I still had something to give. I started visiting Mrs. Eleanor 3 times a week. I'd help her clean, make her lunch, or just sit and talk. She told me stories about her husband who died 10 years ago. How she missed him every single day. How some mornings she didn't want to get out of bed either. But then I think, she said, what if someone needs me today? What if I miss something beautiful by staying in bed? Her words planted a seed in my heart. If you're finding hope in Margaret's story, please take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Subscribe so you don't miss stories like these, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your story matters to us, and we love hearing from every single one of you. Through Mrs. Eleanor, I met other people who needed help. Mr. Thompson down the street needed rides to his doctor appointments. Young Maria next door was a single mom who needed someone to watch her kids while she worked late. Mrs. Rodriguez needed help reading her mail because her eyes were failing. Slowly, day by day, my purpose came back. Not the same purpose I had before. A new one. Better, maybe. Because this time, I wasn't doing it alone. I was part of something bigger. Father Thomas and I met every Wednesday for coffee. We talked about faith, doubt, grief, and hope. He taught me that asking questions wasn't a sign of weak faith but strong faith. That being angry at God was okay because God was big enough to handle it. God doesn't need you to pretend, he said. He wants the real you. Mess and all. The months passed. Winter came and went. Spring arrived with flowers blooming everywhere. I planted new flowers in Mama's old pots that I brought to my house. They grew strong and bright. I found a part-time job at a small clinic, helping elderly patients again. It didn't pay much, but it was enough. More importantly, it felt right. My little yellow house wasn't empty anymore. Mrs. Chen came over for coffee. Mrs. Eleanor visited on Sundays. Maria's kids called me Grandma Margaret. Mr. Thompson brought me vegetables from his garden. Mrs. Rodriguez taught me to make her famous tamales. I had lost my mother. But I had gained a family. Not by blood but by choice. By showing up. By letting people in. By accepting help and giving help. One Sunday morning, exactly 1 year after Mama died, I knelt at the altar again. Father Thomas placed the host on my tongue, just like that day when I broke down crying. But this time, I didn't cry from pain. I cried from gratitude. God hadn't abandoned me. He'd been there all along, in every person who reached out. In the pull that brought me to church. In the courage to keep going even when I wanted to give up. In the new purpose he gave me when I thought everything was lost. I learned that kneeling isn't weakness. It's surrender. And surrender isn't giving up. It's opening your hands so God can fill them with something new. After church, I visited Mama's grave. I brought fresh flowers and sat on the grass beside her stone. "Hi, Mama," I said softly. "I miss you every single day. But I'm okay now. It took a long time, but I'm okay." The wind blew gently, and I swear I felt her with me. Not gone. Just different. Still loving me from wherever she was. I thought about all the people watching my story. Maybe people going through their own dark times. Maybe someone lying in bed right now, feeling like I felt. Thinking there's no point in getting up. Thinking they're alone. Thinking God forgot about them. So I want to tell you something important. Listen carefully. It's okay to be broken. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to doubt and question and fall apart. That's not the end of faith. Sometimes that's where faith really begins. Ask for help. Please ask for help. Don't do what I did and push everyone away. Let people bring you casseroles. Let them sit with you. Let them remind you that you matter. Go to that place that's calling you. Maybe it's a church. Maybe it's a friend's house. Maybe it's a support group. Wherever that pull in your chest is leading you, follow it. Even if you're scared. Even if you're angry. Even if you don't understand why. Find someone to serve. I know that sounds crazy when you're the one hurting. But trust me. When you help someone else, even in a small way, something inside you starts to heal. You remember you still have purpose. You still have gifts to give. Let grief change you, but don't let it destroy you. Mama's death broke my heart. Losing my job shattered my identity. But those broken pieces became something new. Something beautiful. Something I could never have built if I hadn't been broken first. And talk to God. Even if you're angry. Even if you're not sure He's listening. Tell Him the truth. Yell if you need to. Cry if you need to. He's big enough for all of it. That Tuesday morning when I knelt at the altar and Father Thomas placed the host on my tongue, I thought my life was ending. But really, it was just beginning again. Different. Harder in some ways. But also richer. Deeper. More real. I'm 68 now. My hair is more gray. My hands are getting shaky like Mrs. Eleanor's. But I wake up every morning with purpose. I have people who need me. I have people I need. I have a faith that's been tested and survived. The blue coffee mug still sits on my counter. The oak tree still grows in my yard. But everything is different now because I'm different. I learned that strength isn't carrying everything alone. Strength is knowing when to kneel, when to ask, when to receive, when to let yourself be loved. So wherever you are right now, whatever you're going through, please know this. You are not alone. The dark night doesn't last forever. And sometimes the best things in life come after you've fallen to your knees. Kneel if you need to. Break if you need to. Cry if you need to. But then let someone help you stand back up. That's where the real story begins.